Hello, this is Taha.
This is Anaina.
This is Movie Masala.
And we're here to yap at you about films we watched recently.
And today we're doing Ne Zha 2.
我乃哪吒三太子，
瞧，一身正气。
能降妖来，化作神。
Okay, so this is the biggest film of the year that you probably have not heard of.
I thought you made a typo when you told me about this, which, my bad, because, oh my God, when you told me about this film, I'm like, what is this? Why do we not know about this? Why are we not talking about this on the internet? Who is this guy?
Well, this guy is called Ne Zha, who is this little demon child whose parents are like this royalty. It is very basically this demon child who inherently is very mischievous, is also like very like chaotic, but not a bad person at heart and trying to navigate that. I feel that is what the first film is, which I didn't really watch as much as watched a recap video of. Like, I'm going to watch Ne Zha 2. I don't know if Ne Zha 1 is important or not. Very honestly, I think you still get enough context that you can watch Ne Zha 2 without.
Oh my God, I love sequels like that. Not gonna lie, I love a sequel where you don't need any context.
Yeah. So just quick like credits. This film is directed by Yu Yang, who made the first Ne Zha as well and has worked on other Chinese films. Can't really speak to his other works at all. This is the only thing of his that I have watched, right? It's also very much a kid's film. It has your good heaping of fart jokes, puke jokes, stuff like that. It is a fantasy epic. And I really do want to use the word epic here because not only is it around like 2 hours and 30 minutes long, it really does feel like an epic in the sense of there's this huge plot, there's this huge amount of forces and armies coming together. And like the story has multiple like proper like arcs that it goes through, proper structures that it goes through, right? But that being said, like watching this, it's not like you immediately understand, oh, I fully understand why this is the highest grossing film of 2025 currently, right? Or why this is the highest grossing animated film ever made now. But again, let me first speak to the plot. Let me first speak to the film's quality in general, right? So like I said, the plot features Ne Zha, who's this little demon child. He befriends basically his opposite, which is like the spirit or manifestation person who they've both lost their bodies. He's trying to go to this challenge to win his body. And then there's like tensions that come out of that. And then there's a whole plot with like his family and their like land and being attacked. So there's a lot of dynamics in this film, right, happening. And like I said, it's an epic. There's a lot of plot in this film. This film has a lot of plot for like 2 hours, 30 minutes. It's tough, right? And it gets to it fairly quickly. None of it that feels like you don't understand what's happening. But again, it's nothing so groundbreaking in any way that you're like, this is such a must-watch film. I think why it's been so successful at it is within like the plot and everything. The plot is fun. I can't lie, the plot is fun. It moves fairly quickly. The characters have really like established personalities and everything. And there is a lot of thematic nature to the plot, which I read about. Like, for example, they go to this place, which is like the height of like a spiritual place kind of plane where like people become immortal basically. And it's like all white, and Ne Zha kind of jokes about how white it is, which you can read it directly as just like commenting on whiteness in China. Like, someone also talked about like it commenting on the White House and like making fun of that as well.
Oh,
right?
We love a good political children's film.
I wouldn't call this a political children's film as much as like it peppers in stuff for every demographic.
Okay.
Right? Like I mentioned, there are plenty of fart jokes, puke jokes that keep kids entertained. They work for kids. At the end of the day, that's why they're everywhere. They work for kids. And as well as jokes like that, as well as also being like a bit anti-authoritarian, anti-like religious as well. Ne Zha saying like, I don't need God. I can control my own fate. Ne Zha himself being this rebellious, mischievous like devil kind of. So very like anti-authoritarian in how he operates. Also like authority or like the central commanding authority is kind of the main antagonist of this film, not these two factions warring against each other. It's like, oh no, they shouldn't be. And like there's someone else who's manipulating, pulling the strings. So I feel there's a lot for multiple demographics, and that's why it really made the market is because oftentimes like films like The Battle of Lake Changjin, which was also a very high grossing Chinese film. That's very like pro-Chinese, like patriotic film. This doesn't feel like that at all, right? It did come during the lunar Chinese New Year, which is when a lot of these big films do typically come out, right? It's their summer box office kind of vibe. And yeah, so in that sense, I think came out at the right time, appealed to enough demographics, and is genuinely good enough that I feel it became as like prominent as it is, right? To comment on how prominent this film is. So it has earned currently almost $1.9 billion worldwide.
That's so much money, I can't even imagine it.
Most of his out of that, fairly almost like 1.8 of them has been from China. This film has earned majority of his money from China, right? It has also reestablished the power of the Chinese box office, which has been going down for the recent years past COVID. But again, with the recent films, has seen much more of an uptick. I've also read how this film has within China, like been integrated, like the Chinese government is talking about it. Businesses are kind of being like, come in with your receipt and get like a free drink kind of thing. People are incorporating a lot of it because it's seen as like this cultural success as well.
I mean, it speaks a lot to how if a film is good, people will show up. Or if it speaks to like different kinds of things, or like you were saying, caters to different kinds of audiences well, not just panders, but caters to them, then that just means your film is going to do well.
Yeah, exactly. I think it caters to those demographics really well. And again, even outside of China, like I mentioned, it's still done around like a decent amount of money, right? So it's around $50 million outside of China as well. Maybe a lot of them might be Chinese diaspora as well. But regardless of anything, this film doesn't need to be made for like non-Chinese people to be considered a good film, to be considered successful. Anyway, this is just me more analyzing its box office potential and everything. So yeah, it's surprisingly, again, the highest grossing film. It was for 3 weeks within the top 5 in the US box office as well, which honestly I feel speaks more to how badly the US domestic box office has been performing this year.
I mean, the US box office is a beast of its own, and I feel bad for theater owners.
Honestly, it stopped being a question of when will audiences come back to if audiences will come back, honestly.
Which is terrifying for filmmakers as well, especially American ones.
Yeah, there's a whole other question and a whole other, like, honestly, episode to be done about, like, mid-budget films and are they just gonna die off? Multiple examples, everything like that. But speaking to this, again, it's also hopeful to see box offices performing films performing so well. We've seen that with Indian cinema so much recently. So yeah, this is also like catering to that. This is like also I want to talk to about the box office and like how we don't realize the potential other like films also doing really well.
We also don't realize when we watch a film that we are part of the box office.
Yeah, 100% as well. In covering other things as well, I want to talk about the animation. The animation is very like, again, nothing really special aside certain things where they really ramp up. So when the fight sequences happen, they feel very anime-esque fight sequences where there's a lot of energy. It feels very dynamic. It feels very like they land. It feels very good. And then sometimes feels like you had $5 to spend on this shot and that's all you had.
I mean, as much as I know about the film industry from like, professors and certain like directors and stuff I've spoken with, sometimes that is the case where you've got to prioritize what your budget is being spent on.
Yeah. And again, this is a computer animated film. And there are scenes like the swarm of the armies is so big that they basically behave like fluid dynamics. Like it's just like feels like dust colliding into like dust particles. It's so numerous. So you can tell like I feel where the budget was used was much more important than these like side shots of like certain like reaction shots where it really did not matter that much. Right? Aside from that, script-wise, it was good. Again, nothing really special. I think this film gets better as it goes on. It stops being, for lack of a better word, childish as it goes on, becomes more serious in everything. It fully has genocide in the middle as well.
Whoa, again, like I said, you keep saying it's not a political film. I'm starting to think it is a political children's film.
It is a political children's film, but I don't think the politics are directed towards a certain place.
It's still politics, though. That's the best kind of politics.
Maybe, yes. Okay. So, yeah, with all of that combined, I feel it's a film that you can very easily watch. And it incorporates Chinese mythology, but I can't really speak to how well it does that. Obviously, like when you see these foreign films, you also realize how different storytelling is in different cultures as well. Like, it doesn't need to be the same. Like, I feel oftentimes you can see this within other Chinese like stories as well, where there are side characters that don't need to be really pre-established. They come in for the purpose they serve to the story. And after their purpose is served, they do really kind of take a backseat very fairly.
It just reminds me of the fact that when we watch them, it's foreign. But when the place that it's made from watches it, it's just what they're watching. It's just their culture. It's just the kind of films they've grown up watching and just the kind of films they make and watch all the time.
Yeah, exactly. This film just warrants discussion just from the fact that it's the highest grossing film of the year so far. It is the 8th highest grossing film of all time now. It's just like $27 million away from Spider-Man No Way Home. So could also be the 7th highest grossing film of all time now. So just again, an incredible film, came out at the right time, like hit the right demographics and did incredibly well. So yeah, those were our thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. This podcast is produced solely by us with musical assets from Pixabay. See you again next time.
Bye-bye.